Please welcome Atlantic Council Board Chairman John F.W. Rogers.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Can I interrupt your conversation so we can begin today's program? Great. Thank you. I want to welcome everyone to the Atlantic Council Distinguished Leadership Awards. And it's a pleasure to see all of you here tonight. And we gather to honor some of the world's most impressive and influential leaders and to highlight the Atlantic Council's time-honored commitment to providing the intellectual, engaged global leadership necessary to meet the world's most demanding challenges and to ensure that self-determination, that freedom, and prosperity can one day be an enduring reality across all nations. We convene, however, at a decisive moment for the Atlantic Council and the world over, in an era of uncommon geopolitical uncertainty and unrest, as we navigate the social, economic, and political issues that define one of the most fragile, if not foreboding, moments of our time. It is vital that we are guided by people of insight and experience and resolve, leaders who confront obstacles with the confidence and the steady hand that will help chart a course towards a more stable and secure world order. We are fortunate to have such individuals with us as we honor them tonight. More so, the collective interest of peoples and of cultures and countries everywhere with so much at stake are fortunate to have our slate of honorees at their posts, defending the principles of democracy and promoting a peaceful way of life which all are entitled as a basic tenet of humanity, intrinsic and universal actually to all humankind. In no small way, the formidable trials we face in the world today are a reminder that the Atlantic Council raison d'etre has never been more relevant or critically central to geopolitical harmony. We must acknowledge that the work will be difficult, but the solutions are hard-earned. But I say with optimism and confidence that we are prepared as we've ever been in our 60-year history with world-class thought leadership, tactical acumen, and operational expertise to meet this moment with a single-minded resolve that is second to none. In doing so, working in tandem with our international partners, we are able to galvanize an influential network of global leaders and policy experts whose own intellectual contribution and actionable strategies both complement and buttress the work of the Council. In solidarity, we stand proven and ready to shape the global future together. That mission is greatly enriched by the distinguished leaders that we celebrate tonight. An American president once observed, if your actions inspire others to dream, to learn more, to do more, and become more, you are a leader. This year, the Atlantic Council recognizes an undeniable few who inspire us and the world to become more, to envision something better, to strive for something brighter, and safeguard those ideals that we hold dear. They represent the very best of our transatlantic partnership and serve as shining examples of the Atlantic Council's highest aspirations. And it's now my privilege to add 4 exemplary leaders to the roles of our past honorees who have distinguished themselves each in their own way and made an enduring, if not indelible, impact on the world. Tonight, we salute a high school physics teacher who became a mayor of his hometown, a leader of a national political party, and eventually reaching the highest rungs of his land, the president of Romania. An Army brat. An Army brat who earned a degree in biology from Princeton, who speaks 4 languages, and who has forged a career from a combat infantryman to a Supreme Allied Commander of Europe. a precocious student, one of the very first women ever to attend LaSalle Academy, who would graduate valedictorian, become a Rhodes Scholar, governor of her home state, and now the U.S. Secretary of Commerce. And an Academy Award winner, an action hero, and a reluctant Miss World contestant, an actress whose acclaimed roles include Goodwill Ambassador for the United Nations. Ladies and gentlemen, these are our 2024 Distinguished Leader honorees. And I know I speak for all of us in this room when I say that we are in awe of their achievements, inspired by their character, and humbled in their presence. Now, please turn your attention to the screen, and we will begin the first of our videos honoring the President of Romania.
Our future and the future of the next generations depend on each and every decision we are taking now.
As President of Romania, Klaus Iohannis has earned the trust of his people through his unwavering commitment to creating a state that protects its citizens and defends its values.
Romania has taken its rightful place among the nations.
He is a leader dedicated to advancing Romania's prosperity and influence.
At this critical time, we need to act decisively to strengthen Europe both inside and on the global stage.
A champion of unity and global order, and a tireless advocate for building a brighter future.
Democracy and universal human rights are legitimate aspirations for all humankind.
President Iohannis continues to be recognized for his efforts in promoting international cooperation.
An additional commitment to pursue justice, democracy, the rule of law for my country, for the region, and globally.
To present the Distinguished International Leadership Award, please welcome Atlantic Council International Advisory Board Chairman, Stephen J. Hadley.
Good evening. Thank you all for being here for this terrific evening program. We have a wonderful group of awardees, and I have the honor of introducing one of them to you now. From his early days as a physics teacher in the small town of Sibiu to serving as head of state of Romania, President Klaus Iohannis has always had a vision for the future of his country. Over the course of his career, President Iohannis has led his country in bolstering judicial independence and strengthening the rule of law, increasing electoral participation, protecting the rights of minorities, and reforming Romania's educational system. He has shown what nations of vision can achieve with a steadfast commitment to democracy, fairness, competence, and rule of law. Importantly, President Iohannis has always believed that there is no contradiction between a united Europe and a strong transatlantic alliance. Quite the contrary. They are mutually reinforcing. As National Security Advisor to President George W. Bush, I was present in Romania's capital city of Bucharest during the 2008 NATO summit. I witnessed the failure of NATO to offer a membership action plan to Ukraine and Georgia, a failure that gave Russian President Vladimir Putin the belief that he could invade each of these countries without fear of a unified NATO response. Now, with Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine at their doorstep, Romanians have an enormous stake in maintaining and reinforcing European and allied unity. President Iohannis has responded by bolstering Romania and NATO's defense of the alliance's eastern flank, strengthening the U.S.-Romanian strategic partnership, advocating for continued NATO and EU enlargement, and forging strategic partnerships with Japan and South Korea. Under his leadership, Romania has provided critical support to Ukraine in its fight for freedom and has been the most important route for Ukrainian grain shipments to the global south by sea, road, and rail. As we celebrate President Iohannis tonight, let us hope that his principled leadership inspires others to face this historic moment as he has, with courage, with dedication, and above all, with vision. And now, please join me in welcoming President Iohannis to the stage.
Thank you very much. Good evening. I am honored to receive this award. I accept it as a recognition of Romania's leadership over the past 20 years, as a proud NATO member and US partner and friend. Starting in 2001, a few years before we joined NATO, and then throughout our 2 decades of membership, Romania and the Romanian people have made bold, brave, and determined decisions to strengthen the democratic fabric of our society, live up to our transatlantic security commitments, and turn our country into an anchor of strategic stability, prosperity, and progress in a still troubled part of Europe. Romania has set an example in many areas in Central and Eastern Europe, from defending the eastern flank of NATO to investing in democracy, human rights, and the rule of law. These Romanian efforts have consequences that go far beyond our national borders. They, in fact, have helped strengthen Europe and the transatlantic alliance, and they deserve to be recognized. So, I would like to thank Fred Kempe and the Atlantic Council Board of Directors for making this choice to recognize and honor Romania for these efforts. I'm also grateful to the former National Security Advisor, Stephen Hadley, for the introduction tonight and for the unparalleled work in helping to shape and implement President George W. Bush's vision of a Europe whole and free, where Romanians and the other Central and East European nations can embrace dignity, democracy, and prosperity. We should honor this tonight as well. In 2011, Vice President Joe Biden was on this stage for the same award, and at the time made a very powerful statement about America's engagement in Central Europe. He said, I quote, "The time for Central Europe has come. You have shown yourselves ready for our common challenges, willing to tackle them and able to overcome them. That's why in America, we no longer think in terms of what we can do for Central Europe, but rather in terms of what we can do together with Central Europe. And indeed, our country stepped up to meet the responsibilities of being America's eastward partners and allies. That is how the Bucharest 9 format occurred, an initiative spearheaded in 2015 by Romania and Poland that includes all Eastern flank nations and provides a robust platform to coordinate our security resources within NATO. This is how most of our countries on the eastern flank have started to make progress in raising defense budgets and upgrading our military infrastructure and equipment. That is how our countries have been empowered to act with unity and resolve and to put up a strong deterrent against the Russian expansionism, while at the same time holding true to our core transatlantic democratic values. There is no other more powerful proof of that than the way in which our countries on the eastern flank have responded to Russia's unjustified aggression against Ukraine and to Ukraine's vital needs to defend itself and reject this horrible Russian attack. As President of Romania, I can tell you that Romania has truly been standing out in the first line through its efforts to help Ukraine. Over 7.5 million Ukrainians have crossed the border into Romania seeking refuge, safety, and safe passage. Almost 40,000 children are now studying in Romanian classrooms. Millions of tons of humanitarian assistance have crossed into Ukraine through and from Romania. Romania also helped Ukraine maintain a vital economic lifeline, leveraging our unique maritime connections and facilitating the transit of almost 40 million tons of grain, almost 70% of Ukrainian grain exports through the Romanian ports on the Danube River and the Black Sea. All these efforts continue for as long as it takes, because we know that Romania plays a key role in helping Ukraine achieve victory and peace, succeed economically, and integrate into the European Union. So, my message to you tonight is Romania took this call seriously. What can America do together with Central Europe? We are working together to enhance our collective security, advance freedom and economic progress, and make sure that democracy continues to deliver. It is our shared responsibility, and you can count on our ability to carry through. Because the United States has no better ally than Romania. I dedicate this award to all Romanians and to the partnership and friendship between Romania and the United States of America. Thank you very much.